I saw you with someone else, and in that moment my heart fractured into 1,000 pieces. Yet I couldn't look away. Watching you with someone else, my thoughts spiraled, a mix of longing, jealousy, and the haunting truth of what I no longer have. The way you smiled at them made my world stop, leaving me tangled in a storm of memories and questions. I never imagined seeing you with another person could cut this deep, but here I am, standing in silence, trying to make sense of it all. Seeing you with someone else felt like a cruel twist of fate, but I couldn't tear my eyes away from the life I was no longer part of. In that fleeting moment, my mind raced with thoughts I wasn't ready to face. Could I have done something different? It wasn't the sight of you with someone else that hurt the most. It was the feeling of being forgotten, invisible in your world. I couldn't stop staring because every part of me wanted to believe that we still existed in each other's lives, despite the distance. The pain of watching you with someone else was a reminder of what could have been, but also a wake-up call to let go. It wasn't jealousy that overwhelmed me. It was the ache of watching the future we once dreamed of slip away into someone else's arms. I stood there, motionless, frozen in time, unable to look away from the scene that shattered everything I thought I knew. When I saw you with someone else, I wasn't sure if I was grieving the loss of what we had or the loss of the person I thought you were. Each second felt like an eternity as my heart tried to reconcile the image of you with them and the memory of us. Seeing you with someone else was like watching the end of a beautiful dream that was never meant to last. I wanted to turn away, but I couldn't. I had to see it all. Every second of you slipping further away from me. In that moment, I realized that seeing you happy with someone else wasn't the worst part. It was knowing I couldn't be the one to make you smile anymore. My heart ached, not because of what I saw, but because of the realization that I had to let go and let you move on. What I saw wasn't just you with someone else. It was the end of an era, the death of something I couldn't save. You didn't see me standing there, but I saw you. And in that brief moment, I understood just how far apart we had drifted. My thoughts were consumed by you and them, and the hollow space between us filled with questions I couldn't answer. The jealousy wasn't what stung, it was the silent acceptance that you were happy with someone else, and I was no longer part of your world. I watched you from afar, each second feeling like a painful reminder of how quickly things can change. Seeing you with someone else broke me, but it also gave me the clarity I needed to move on, though my heart wasn't quite ready. I thought I had prepared myself, but nothing could have truly prepared me for the feeling of watching you fall for someone else. What I saw wasn't just an image, it was a reflection of everything I feared: losing you. My thoughts raced, but my heart stayed silent, trying to process the new reality of seeing you with someone who wasn't me. In that instant, I felt like I was a stranger to you, someone who had once been so close, now so far away. Seeing you with someone else didn't hurt as much as realizing that the chapter I thought we were writing had already ended. I kept staring, trying to find the spark that once existed between us, but all I could see was a version of you I didn't recognize anymore. It wasn't just the sight of you with someone else. It was the haunting question of whether I ever truly knew you at all. Every time I tried to look away, my mind would pull me back, desperate to hold on to something I knew was already slipping through my fingers. I wasn't just watching you with someone else. I was witnessing the life we could have had, passing by in someone else's arms. The hardest part wasn't seeing you happy with them. It was seeing the future you no longer shared with me. I tried to bury the emotion, but seeing you with someone else unearthed everything I thought I had moved past. I didn't want to see it, but I couldn't stop myself. The reality of you and them hit harder than I ever expected. My heart wanted to scream, but I stayed silent, watching as you moved on and left me behind in a place I couldn't reach. I never thought I'd feel this way, frozen in place, unable to escape the painful beauty of watching you find happiness with someone else. Seeing you with someone else made me question everything we had, but in the end, it also taught me to release you with love. It wasn't just a fleeting moment, it was a profound shift, a reality that I couldn't ignore any longer. I watched you from the shadows, wishing for a time when I was the one by your side, but knowing that time had long passed. The heartache wasn't in seeing you with someone else. It was in realizing that the space I once filled was now occupied by someone else. I never thought I'd feel so lost while standing right in front of you, but seeing you with someone else made me realize how far apart we had grown. Watching you with someone else was like reading the last page of a book I wasn't ready to finish. Every glance you shared with them echoed in my mind, each one a painful reminder of what I had lost. I wasn't sure if the tears were for you or for myself, but all I knew was that I couldn't stop thinking about what we had and what we had lost. In that moment, I realized the hardest part wasn't seeing you with someone else. It was knowing I couldn't hold on to you anymore. It was strange seeing you with someone else, like watching a movie I used to be part of but now had no role in. You didn't know it, but I was there, watching, trying to piece together the parts of me that were falling apart with every second. I couldn't stop staring, not because I wanted to, but because seeing you with them felt like an inevitable conclusion I wasn't ready to face. My mind kept replaying the scene. Each time it hurt a little less, but the question lingered: how do I let go? It wasn't just the hurt of seeing you with someone else. It was the acceptance that maybe it was time to move on. The image of you with someone else will forever be etched in my mind, a constant reminder of the love that couldn't survive. I had to watch as you moved forward without me, yet I couldn't stop looking, as though hoping for some sign that things could go back to the way they were. Seeing you with someone else was like watching the last drop of water fall from an empty cup, a slow, inevitable end. The most painful thing was realizing that you had found happiness with someone else, and I was left to find peace within myself. I wanted to look away, but part of me needed to witness the reality of the love that had faded away. The hardest part of seeing you with someone else was not the jealousy, it was the emptiness left inside me. I didn't just see you with someone else. I saw the life we could have had and the future I would never have with you. Seeing you with someone else wasn't just a loss, it was the final chapter to a story I thought had so much more to give. I watched you, and though my heart shattered, I understood that sometimes the only way to move forward is to let go. When I saw you laughing with them, I realized I was the only one stuck in the past, unable to catch up to your new reality. In that split second, I understood that the person I once held close was now out of my reach, living a life I was no longer part of. It wasn't just you and them that I saw. It was the stark contrast of how far I was from being able to let you go. Looking at you with someone else made me reflect on the stories we told each other and how quickly they became distant echoes. I watched the moment unfold, feeling like an outsider peering into a world I no longer recognized. I never expected it to hurt this much, but your happiness with another person reminded me of all the promises we never got to fulfill. My eyes lingered on the sight, as if capturing the final evidence that you truly had moved on without me. Seeing you with someone else felt like the last puzzle piece clicking into place, confirming that our story was over. I tried to compose myself, but my heart wouldn't listen. The sight of you in their arms broke the fragile peace I had built. That moment showed me how fragile my resolve was, reminding me that the process of healing was still very much unfinished. Every laugh you shared with them echoed in my mind, each one unraveling another thread of hope I'd been clinging to. The hardest part wasn't the heartbreak, it was realizing that somewhere along the way, we had become strangers again. I saw you glance in my direction, yet your eyes didn't linger, a sign that I was just a memory to you now. For a second, I wondered if you still thought about me as I stood there, unnoticed, witnessing the chapter you were writing without me. Time froze for me while it moved on for you, and I couldn't deny that this was my cue to finally set myself free. Even though I felt a twinge of jealousy, deep down I knew you deserved happiness, even if it wasn't with me. I clung to each second of that moment, unsure whether to savor the last glimpse of us or accept the harsh truth that we were over. The moment had a strange duality. I felt an acute sense of loss, but also a glimmer of hope for what lies ahead. Standing on the sidelines, I realized I had to choose between staying in the past or embracing a future without you. Sometimes love is about letting go, and seeing you with someone else was my ultimate lesson in grace. I tried not to resent the person by your side, because they were simply filling the place I could no longer hold.